Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and this video is brought to you by the online B-Ball Breakdown membership. Click the first link in the description below to learn more and join.
Good.
It's possible you're not old enough to remember when Dwight Howard could do this. Or this. Or was the single biggest obstacle to LeBron James in the Eastern Conference. And all of these highlights were from a different era in the NBA, before the pace and space and three-point frequency became the blueprint for modern basketball. But does that mean the traditional back-to-the-basket center can't be effective in today's game? Is Dwight Howard completely washed up, relegated to playing outside of the US if he wants to make money on the court? Or has he been displaying a lot of qualities, both related to skill and physicality, that are still very useful in the NBA? If you lost track of Dwight over the past several years, I don't blame you. Toiling away in relative obscurity in Atlanta and Charlotte, he might have missed 2 seasons that were right on par with his career per 36 numbers. While the team's fortunes didn't eclipse mediocre, Dwight Howard was able to fill up the box score the way he always had. There wasn't a ton of footage to go through in Washington last year, but you could see that he is not the same explosive athlete as he once was, unable to dunk this lob at the rim. Or on this roll to the rim, once he's able to corral the pass, he barely gets to the rim level to finish, a stark contrast to the kind of bounce he had 5 years ago. But he can still have flashes of it. On this pin down and slip to the hoop, he gets up and throws it down. As the post-up game has slowly dwindled away in the NBA, what's gotten Dwight in trouble is his insistence on taking up space on the low block as often as possible and executing isolations down there. And he certainly has some ability to make a move, get close to the hoop, and finish strong. He can face up to the basket and use his dribble to attack, pointing his left shoulder into the defender and releasing that hook shot with either hand. But these shots stall the offense out, and quite frankly, he's never been amazingly awesome at finishing his post moves, usually ranking around average in post-up efficiency. When he takes too much time on the move and the defense knows he won't pass it out, it leads to a lot of tough misses and potential fast breaks for the other team. But where he could fit into the modern game is by running the floor and commanding deep position early, where he gets that familiar lefty hook in the basket. He could get more back-to-the-basket moves if he attacked off the catch after setting screens, when the defense doesn't have time to react to such a quick move. Where he's always been the best version of himself is in the pick and roll, where he sets punishing screens and then still has enough quickness and speed to get to the basket and finish well. Here's a modern set called Spain Pick and Roll, where a third screener back screens Dwight's man, and it gets him right to the rim where he finishes softly with the left. Again, more evidence that he's not going to destroy the rim anymore, but perhaps it doesn't matter anyway. And he's got enough of a finishing package that setting the inside ball screens with an empty corner gets him into the lane and an easy layup. The Wizards use him as a multi-screener tool in their offense, and you can see how a player like Bradley Beal was able to take full advantage of the space Howard provided to collapse the defense before dumping it off. Not every team has a shooter/cutter like Beal, but this kind of action fits into the modern game nicely. Centers like Jokic and Towns have gotten a ton of props for their ball handling ability, and believe it or not, Dwight Howard has it too. He can put the ball down on the floor to his left, finishing here through contact from Steven Adams with soft touch and the left hand. And if you ignore the little shuffle of the feet, something that has plagued him throughout his career and led to a lot of turnovers, then check the nice crossover and one over Jarrett Allen. And you may remember footage of Dwight working on his jumper during the offseason. Guess what? There is a little evidence that it has paid off. Perhaps generating a sliver more space around the paint as his defender has to take a step out to worry about this threat. I'm not completely sold on this, but we cannot ignore it just yet. On the defensive end, he's always understood how to anchor a defense and communicate coverages. He contains the ball handler nicely on the left wing, calls out the switch back to his man, then shadows the isolation, making sure his teammates know what he's doing, and gets into position to defend the pick and roll before contesting beautifully on the pull-up jumper, forcing a serious brick. For the high pick and roll, he is still quick enough laterally to stay with guards. Even if he gets beat, check how he can recover in the air to contest without fouling. And then multiple efforts to contest once this man gets the offensive rebound. Really good stuff that any defensive coach would recognize immediately as being beneficial to their team. Considering he's from a different era where centers never shot threes, I am impressed with his willingness to get out to the line to contest jumpers, since there are quite a few centers in the league who can reliably hit this shot. And it wasn't that long ago in Charlotte, where he still looked explosive and impacted the game on the defensive end almost the way he did in his prime, blocking shots in a variety of ways that showed when healthy, he still has enough spring in his legs to redirect shots in the paint. While he's not as fast as he used to be, he makes up for it by understanding spacing and angles to recover quickly and block this shot from Embiid. There are plenty of centers in the league that get torched on the high pick and roll, but Dwight is a guy you can trust to contain ball handlers and still contest shots at the rim against even the best guards. The real question is why Dwight hasn't been able to get settled with the team over the last several years, as if he wasn't wanted. Of course, there are always whispers of locker room issues, but no one has ever questioned his work ethic. He does like to joke around.
I learned magic for 8 years. Traveled to La La Land. Learned how to work with rockets. Then I went and learned how to fly with some hawks. Got stung by the hornets. Just a joke. But through all of that, it's taught me how to be a wizard.
But in an 82-game season, a sense of humor is vital. We know how Kobe felt about playing alongside Dwight, yet we know he can be part of a winning culture like they had in Orlando before the Pepsi can incident. But for some reason, players don't seem to like him, and Charles Barkley asked him straight up about it.
And I think I was very likable in Orlando, and the way that situation ended, I think people felt as though, I'm just this bad guy. I'm all about myself. I'm a diva. I'm stuck on being Dwight Howard, this famous basketball player. So a lot of people say, we don't like this guy. And I hear that a lot. And it really hurts me because, my heart and my attitude towards the game has always been the same. And my drive has always been there. Because I never forget the day I came in here and you told me I wasn't going to be good in the NBA. And I never forget the day that Magic Johnson said I wasn't going to make it to the NBA when I was in the 10th grade. And that stuff drives me every day to want to be one of the greatest players to play the game.
What I need to know is whether his back can hold up after surgery last year. If he can return to his form in Charlotte, there is no doubt in my mind he can help a team in 20 minutes a game. In fact, there wouldn't be a backup center in the league with his skill set. And in the right setting and culture, he could easily fit into a team that wants to go deep in the playoffs. While the Lakers are going to work him out to see if he can replace DeMarcus Cousins, it looks like he won't go there. But the list of teams that need help off the bench in the front court is long. And if they do their due diligence on his health, and it comes up positive, then Dwight Howard should be on a roster on opening night. Sports fans, Coach Nick again, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then I've got a new online basketball membership where I share with you the best of what NBA teams are doing to help you be more successful on the court. Click the first link in the description or the pinned comment below to learn more. And don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know how you feel about today's video. Check your settings to make sure you get notified each time we drop a new one. After all, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?